Hey guys, Gary here with Northwest Safe. We're here today to install a Fort Knox mailbox. We're one of the biggest dealers in the Northwest of these mailboxes, and we get a lot of questions on the do's and don'ts and how to do it right. As far as tools required, it's not a whole bunch. I'm going to lay out a couple things for you here. We've got a small torpedo level, a 5/8 wrench, the bolt hardware for the post in the mailbox, a couple buckets just to discard our dirt, not make a mess of the place. We've got a rock bar, post hole digger, a small shovel, landscape rake, and just a broom for some cleanup. I usually grab 2 bags of concrete. Doesn't normally take both bags. And then I bring a little bit of water with me just in case there's not a hose close by. On this install, the customer had a wooden post that rotted over time and just kind of broke off on its own when the mail lady dropped off mail one day. So in this case, we're kind of left with a blank slate. I think down here we've got some wood, possibly some concrete. So I'm gonna start off with the rock bar, get down in there and see what we got. Of course, call before you dig, 811. So in this situation, it's kind of the worst case scenario. You get into a hole, there's excess concrete in there, you end up with this big wide gaping hole. And it's gonna be pretty hard if you try and set concrete in this to get that post to stand up without standing around waiting for a whole lot of time for that concrete to dry. So I'm going to clean some of this up and use some of this concrete actually to create more of a post hole in here, fill in some dirt, and then we'll start our process with our post hole digger to get our depth for the Fort Knox mailbox. So per USPS specs, they would like the face of the mailbox to be 6 to 8 inches off your curb edge, and where the mail slot is going in, which is a little bit different on a Fort Knox mailbox. Your access door is this lower portion. So you're not measuring to the bottom of the box, you're actually measuring to the slot at the top where the mail goes in. Generally that puts your Fort Knox post about 22 to 26 inches into the ground. So we've got a little bit of a hole going here. I'm just gonna throw a tape down to the bottom in the center. I'm kind of using my foot as a reference point, just roughly. Right now we're about 18 inches of depth. We've got a little ways to go. I hit some hard pins, so I'm gonna get the rock bar out and loosen some stuff up. So I'm gonna put a little bit of concrete down on the base of this just to give me something to set the bottom of that post in and have a solid foundation. So on your post, if you check all 4 sides, one side is going to have a seam on it. You want that to be in the rear of the mailbox. So in the beginning I told you the post office wants the front of your mailbox to be 6 to 8 inches off the edge of the street. Good way to measure for that is from the center of your bolt down pattern to the very front of the mailbox here is about 12 inches. We'll measure from the center of this pattern out that 12 inches and out to the curb edge. And we're right in spec right there, right at 20 inches off the curb side. So we are 21 inches, so we're right inside specs. We're gonna set her there. So we've got all this extra concrete from the last post. There's nothing wrong with using it to fill up some of your hole, and it's just gonna add some strength. You kind of want to square the post up to your curb edge and then check for level. Just got to get it close for now. We got some mixing to do inside the hole. So for your front to back, you want about a 1/4 bubble lean forward. The Fort Knox mailboxes are solid on the bottom, and with hard rain they can fill up with water, so you want that to drain out. So we're here on a residential street. We're using concrete to set this mailbox post. Sometimes if you're on a real busy road, it might be a better idea. You can use pea gravel as your fill. And this is gonna be plenty strong to hold that post up with how deep it is in the ground. So there's definitely a couple different ways to do your concrete. I used to bring a wheelbarrow out here and mix the concrete first before I put it in the hole. And then I switched to a Rubbermaid. I used to mix the concrete in there. And then I had a fence built in my house, and I saw the guys dumping dry concrete into the hole, spraying it with some water, poking around at it. And my fence doesn't budge. So I decided after that just pouring it in there dry, mixing it with a little bit of water is plenty of strength for this thing just sitting here. One of the reasons I started mixing that concrete a little bit drier is because literally I can clean up my mess, put all my tools away, and this thing's already rock solid and ready to throw the box on there. Obviously it still needs to cure, and it's still gonna gather some moisture over time and harden up. But when you mix it too wet, then you gotta wait days for the thing to set up, and when you're doing it as a quick job, there's no time for that. In the bag we got a carriage bolt, lock washer, and an acorn nut. Carriage bolt comes in from the underside. Just kind of find your hole under here, work your way over to it. Out there. Lock washer goes on, acorn nut goes on. Just hand tighten that, get all 4 of the bolts started first. If you tighten down that first one, the holes are kind of tough to line up. Then once you get all 4 of them started, you can tighten them down. So this model is a Fort Knox small standard with a vault lock extreme. It has a standard locking tab along with 2 safe style locking bars that extend to help secure the door. The key used on this is from Medco. It's got a special key number. There's no way to have these made at your hardware store, so it's important to hang on to that key number just in case you need to reorder one. So if you're looking for a high quality mailbox, Fort Knox is definitely the way to go. It's the most secure mailbox on the market. We have a full line of these in stock at Northwest Safe. We can ship them anywhere. We'd be glad to help you out. Reach out with a telephone call or an email if you're interested. Thanks a lot.